DaylesAddiction. Today I'm bringing you part 2 of my Q&A video. Part 1 will be linked above and in the description box below. Please check it out. Okay, this one is from Life and Lux Delights. Hi Tanaz. It's a night out. Who gets ready faster? You, Connor or Meredith? And there's a second part to this question. Who gets ready faster? I think Connor would procrastinate. Even though he would not take as long to get ready, it would take him a long time to get motivated to get ready. I think Meredith takes a long time, but she's always ready early. Like she's very, very early. Like she'll get to the airport, 3 hours early when you only need to be there 1 hour early. So Meredith takes a while if she's got the time, but she's always early. And for me, I think if I had half an hour, it would take me half an hour. I think I'm pretty efficient with my time. So I think maybe I'd be ready first if we all had the same amount of time. The second part of Tanaz's question is your top 5 favourite movies. Oh, this is hard because there's all different phases of life, right? So the first one that makes me smile every time, Austin Powers, Gold Member. The second more nostalgic one would be Top Gun. The third nostalgic one for, reasons where I knew where I was at the time was the first Sex and the City movie. If you talk about high school nostalgia, Clueless. And if you talk about movies that really change the way that you see the world, oh God, I don't know, like there's so many. Intouchables is just a beautiful movie, I think, about living life and not judging people. So yeah, I'll put those 5 in. LV Lover 3393. How are you liking the Birkin? If you had to choose, would you rather sell it or get another in lilac? So in part 1 I answered a lot of Birkin questions, but I will answer the second part of this question here. I saw a Birkin in a very light mauve. I don't remember exactly what it's called, when Connor and I were shopping at Lux Link, which is a consignment store here in Brisbane, and I didn't like it. I thought it was like too flat, too much of one colour. So yeah, I'd prefer to keep mine. I think mine is perfect. And I can't believe that she managed, the sales associate managed to match me so well. At Joy Love C, I think this is you, Corinne. If you had another opportunity to buy an Hermes quota bag without playing the game, what would it be? As I previously answered in part 1, I think it would be a mini Kelly, which is what I originally asked for, in like a fuchsia ostrich leather, palladium hardware. Oh, I could probably do gold hardware as well, but that would be similar to my baguette, so palladium hardware. If you could only pick one, Connor or Gary? And this one's from at Flo Casso. Oh, look, that's a really hard choice. I mean, Gary, he's always there for me. He's not particularly practical, but neither is Connor. He makes me laugh. And then you've got Connor, and he makes me laugh. He's a little more, 4-dimensional. So I'd pick Connor. Fiona Crispin Jennings asks, not very spicy, but can you give an update on your LV roller case, please? I can. I will do a separate video for that because, as I said in my last video, I've got a couple of trips coming up and I'm going to use it. So that will give it enough use for me to be able to give you a bit of a review on that. Elizabeth Crepeau, is that how I pronounce your surname? You want a Kelly now? Come on, another Birkin? No, I don't want a Kelly. I don't like Kelly bags. I don't like how they close, especially the Cellier ones. They're very straight and hard, and No, that won't be happening. If there was another Birkin, I really like the 30 size, so I'd consider another Birkin 30 for sure. Michelle Crawford. Hi Michelle. Do you get paid more from YouTube now that you have over 10k subs? I hope you say yes, because the time you put into your videos is very valuable. In other words, you deserve to get paid more. Actually, the answer is no, I don't. It doesn't seem to make a difference for me how many subscribers I have. My views haven't really changed. So my views sit around on average 2,500 to 3,000 views per video, and that's what you get paid on. Perhaps there are tiers around how much you get paid per view based on how many subscribers you have, but I don't do the videos that draw huge views. I don't do controversial or viral videos. I'm not unboxing every other day. So the reality for me is that it's stayed the same. You get a big spike in kind of like November, December, because the price per view that you are paid increases. Okay, so my camera overheated and I think I remember where I'm at. I've since done about 2 hours of ironing, watched the movie Locke with, what's his name, Tom Hardy, and made myself a spritz to come back for the rest of these questions. Hopefully the camera contains its excitement. So, I think Michelle was asking me about, am I making any more money? No, Michelle. I think this month, for example, I'm making about $405. That's what I'm projected to make. And that's cutting down to 2 videos a week instead of the 3 that I was doing most of the time last year. And yeah, my views are staying the same regardless of subscribers increasing. And my subscribers increase pretty slowly, but I am happy to say that once they're here, they tend to stay around. So yeah, I don't like, unless you are doing a lot of unboxing and bringing in new views, they don't necessarily have to convert to subscribers. It's, yeah, forget about making money out of YouTube. And as I said, this is not a business of mine, and so I'm not going to just buy things for content, and I'm not going to do videos that people might click on because they're researching things. I just talk about what I'm interested in, what's piquing my interests, and connect with you guys. And that's a niche inside of a very small niche. And so I can't expect that it's going to grow exponentially. Okay, Miss Kogan, off your usual topic, I know you had to be careful talking about your work, but I would really love a video with job ideas in the industrial area, especially if they will sponsor you visa-wise from the US or anything else. I'm in my mid-40s, desperate to make a change and move abroad. Thank you. Well, I think the first thing that I would do is Australia has a critical skills shortage in a number of areas. So the first thing to do is to Google the Australian skills shortages and the roles that qualify under those. And that would be the first step, I guess, to see if any of those roles meet with your skills, qualifications and experience. And then from there, you would look on Indeed for roles in Australia, and typically migration agents would manage those recruitment processes on behalf of employers here in Australia. The next question, bags and lifestyle. How are you liking the new job? What do you like about working for someone else? What do you miss about working for yourself? Are you planning to climb the company ladder? How am I liking the new job? I really enjoy it. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be there. I really enjoy the connections I'm making with people, that we're making a plan beyond this year and the next, and we're building something, and everything is connected to so many other things. So the need to collaborate broadly across the business is something that I really enjoy doing. Yes, it does mean that things are a little slower, but there's more collective ownership, and they're the things I really get a kick out of, seeing people come together and achieve something that they couldn't do individually or in their own particular silo in a company. I miss the flexibility that I had in my own role. I could, work on a Sunday if I wanted to, and I could take a long lunch on a Wednesday. I don't have that level of flexibility now, and to be honest, it's not really hurt me. So, yeah, I don't have my sights set on climbing the company ladder. I've worked for big corporates in the past, and I've not seen many happy people that climb. For me, it's really about choosing what's right for me and my life, what flexibility I want, what challenges I want, who I want to work with, and sometimes it's not about going up. Samantha Lee 805 says, what motivates you most in life? Learning, I think. Probably learning, discovering things, whether it's places, travel, you know, in my work, in leadership development and change motivation, whether it's in fashion, how things change and grow, whether it's about learning about myself, learning about the people in my life, my friends and family, my dogs. I do love information. I'm a big fan of it. And yeah, I think as far as we know, we're here one time. And so like understanding about things that aren't commonly talked about, and I've mentioned on my channel before the fact that I watch YouTube videos on weird things like mortuary science and those sorts of things. I watch because I don't want to know that I don't know things and do nothing about it. I know that I don't know a lot of things and I don't even know what they are yet, but once I find out, I'm not about to sit around and, you know, wait for the answer to come to me. I will go and look into it further. Marinads, the bags you absolutely hate in your favourite YouTubers' collections. You did say spicy. Yes, and I have answered that one. So I think is it in this video? It might be in the previous video. Okay, Aaron D. Hollis. What do your workmates think about your YouTube videos and status? Do they even know what you do on YouTube? And do you think they wonder how you can afford all the expensive purses? Just trying to think of some really sassy questions to ask you. So sorry for seeming so nosy and judgy. No, I did ask for it, Erin, and thank you very much for following the script. Most of my workmates do know about my YouTube channel. They knew about it before I started working there. And initially there was a fair bit of, you know, Q&A about it. Now it's really not something that we talk about. And as you know, if you follow me on Instagram, I take my bags to work every day, different bags, and sometimes they might catch the eye of somebody and they might go, oh, I really like that one, what's that one? But typically it's not a topic of conversation. So it was initially, and now it's gone. And sometimes I run into people during my work that provide services to my organisation, and they'll be like, aren't you Dale from DaylesAddiction? I'm like, yeah. And that's funny initially, but then it's cool because we automatically have something that we connect on, and that's where all relationships are built. In terms of how do I afford them, there was one chap at work that said, oh, well, how do you get the bags? And I said, I buy them. And he said, but aren't they very expensive? And I said, yes, they are. And he said, so how do you buy them? And I said, with money. And he goes, yeah, but like, aren't they like several thousands of dollars? And I said, yes, they are. And then I sometimes do a smart remark like, and I've got a rich husband, because then it starts to get a bit weird. But yeah, I like to play with people who ask those questions. Xavier_Lux9167. Can you please do more shopping vlogs? I live in Brisbane and I love to see what's out there with luxury experience, what brands are worth it, what are not in terms of quality and pricing. Thirdly, can you please do a skincare video? Your skin looks amazing. And lastly, if you don't mind me asking, do you get any cosmetic procedures? XOXO. Well, thanks for your question, Xavier. I did a shopping vlog. It's up today with Connor, so you can check that one out. In terms of brands being worth it and quality and pricing, I feel like that is really subjective, and I'm not objective about that. Like, I make it pretty clear that there are brands that I'm not a fan of, and that's more their aesthetic. I'm not really qualified to talk about their quality. And pricing, well, it's kind of irrelevant. They're all ridiculous. So you probably won't get a lot of commentary from me on those sorts of things. And back to Michelle's question earlier, probably why my channel is small and slow to grow. A skincare video. I've done a lot of skincare in vlogs. Look, thank you for the compliment, but I'm not a guru on it. I just do what works for my skin. And in terms of cosmetic procedures, I haven't had Botox now since, I'm going to say, before I went on holiday, so August, and you can see so much movement in my face now. And I'm going to try and keep getting used to it. Like even this one here, even that one, I'm just going to leave it because I see so many people on here talk about their weight and their wrinkles and their hair and all of these things that take up space in their headspace. And look, it's not that I don't care, but I don't want to care so much that I think about it all the time. So at the moment, you know, I'm just using a good cleanser. I use a Drunk Elephant cleanser sometimes, and I use a bespoke cleanser other times. I exfoliate once a week with a granular exfoliant. I use a toner and a niacinamide and a CE ferulic and a moisturiser, and I use Dennis Gross daily peels and sometimes a retinol every now and then when I remember. Just the basics that a 40-something-year-old woman does, I think. At Lurad, you seem to love your job. If you could turn back the clock, would you pick the same career or something else? Well, I didn't even pick my career. It picked me. So, keeping it very short, I moved to a remote area with my partner at the time, who was out of his graduate program as an engineer, and I was studying part-time, and I took a secretarial role to support myself whilst I was studying by distance. And a vacancy came up in human resources, and the human resources manager came and approached me about it, and I really had no idea what it was all about. Next minute, here we are. How long? 23 years later. And yeah, it's taken me all over the country and in all of the different facets of human resources, people and culture, organisational development, and I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, I wouldn't change anything. I love that it's transferable across industry. I love that it's transferable across countries, across the world. And there's always going to be people, and there are always going to be people challenges. So it's a job for life. Rosie Scott 3811 asks, do you have another bird besides Gary? No, I don't. Linda Thompson asks, can you do more cooking and shopping vlogs? Also love a good road trip. Yes, I always think to do it after I'm halfway through it. So it's easier for me to do those sorts of vlogs when Mr. Addiction isn't home, because he's always got TV on in the background and we have an open plan home. So it's very hard to kind of get him to not make noise somewhere else. So yes, but I can do some more lifestyle vlogs for sure. Muriel Endekirk. What is the most embarrassing memory from school? I don't know if there were, so we used to, our grade was quite large. So there were like 300 girls in the same grade as me. And while the school was experiencing growing pains, they would use the choir stands as seating for assembly. And my friends thought it would be funny to tie my shoelaces together whilst we were sitting in the choir stands, and they might be like bleachers in America, but indoor ones. And so we had to stand to sing the school song, and I nearly tripped forward, and we thought it was quite funny. And then at the end of the assembly, everybody was dismissed except for Dale. And I got held back, and everybody knew I got held back, and I got into trouble, and it wasn't even my fault. And they didn't want to listen at all. So that was a bit embarrassing. Kaylee Carroll, hi Kaylee, great supporter of my channel. Any new designers you're wanting to get? Any new collaborations with anyone? And how do you like having another pet so far? New designers, all of the things that I'm kind of frothing over at the moment are in footwear. So I am interested in some Aquazzura shoes at the moment, but I'm going to do a whole nother video on that. I don't have any yet. Some Gianvito Rossi shoes, Manolo Blahniks, Christian Louboutins. Yeah, so quite a few designers, but in the footwear department, not in the handbag department. And I love having another pet. I love seeing how happy Edwina is. Both of them together are just like, they make me smile, and it's exactly what I wanted from another pet, that Edwina would have company and that Lulu would feel, you know, just a part of the family. And yeah, it's very sweet. Styled by Gwenny, another fabulous YouTuber and friend. I'll leave her channel linked below. Obviously, I'm your favourite fellow Fendi fan in my head, but that's not part of the question. What I want to know is, how would you tell any one of us that our newest, greatest, most expensive, most exciting handbag purchase that we're completely head over heels about is the ugliest thing you've ever seen and makes you question our friendship? Well, that is very spicy, Gwenny. How would I tell you? I don't think I would. I remember when I got my Chanel by the Sea sandbag, Meredith said, "Oh, I love that for you," which was her way of saying, not a fan. Look, I think if someone genuinely asks, then I think you have a duty to tell. But I always say you shouldn't ask friends and family what they think. When you're spending that much money, you should buy what you want, because it's none of your business what other people think. So yeah, I'd be more inclined to say, why are you asking me? And if they say, oh, I just don't know if I should spend this kind of money, then I would ask questions around, okay, what is it about this amount of money that's making you nervous? What's the next most expensive bag that you've purchased, and how do you feel about that now? What are you worried about if you do buy it and it doesn't work out? What are the opportunities that you see yourself creating if you do go ahead and purchase this piece? How will it make you feel? And I help, you know, I've got a coaching background, so I guess I'd help the person make the decision themselves, if they asked. But if they've already bought it and they say, look at my new bag, what do you think? And I'm like, I'm so happy for you. Okay, Erica Edelman asks, what is your guilty pleasure? My guilty pleasure is time alone. I think a lot of people think that I am extroverted, and I am not. I've said it before, I'm an introverted extrovert, and you can hear Mr. Addiction. He's decided to do whippersnippering whilst I'm filming, and he snuck in here before and knew that I was filming. So that means that whenever plans get cancelled, whenever Mr. Addiction is travelling, I don't need to replace those plans. I don't need to make plans to be with people. I am quite happy being all on my own. I love it. Suzanne M3526, do you like Tim Minchin? Since you're Australian, I mean. I'm on a Tim Minchin binge on YouTube's right now and thought I'd ask an Aussie. I do like Tim Minchin. I think he's controversial. I think he's very smart. I think he's very talented. For those who don't know Tim Minchin, he wrote the music and the stage play for Broadway show Matilda. And it is one of those shows that I'm not one for watching, you know, childlike shows, but I think Matilda is actually written for the adults looking back on their childhood. And I think that it's very good at capturing those moments of dreamlike moments where you have no idea how life is going to pan out for you. And yeah, I find it really relatable. I also really love one of Tim Minchin's songs. It's actually a Christmas song, and it's about being away from all of your family. And it resonates because I left home very young and I've never gone back to live. And it's called White Wine in the Sun. So if I can link that song below, I will. But otherwise, yeah, just look it up on Spotify. White Wine in the Sun. Can't tell you that it won't bring a tear to your eye. Rosie Scott asks, are you and your husband both dog lovers? Sometimes I think I hear a bird in your videos. Do you have a bird, or is it the lovely sounds outside? It's birds outside. I live in kind of a very urban area, so I often talk about traffic noise and people say, you shouldn't mention it, we don't hear it. But you can hear the birds, and that's exactly my issue. People who prefer to live in the country, like, you know, good for you, everyone has their thing. Birds are so irritating. They wake you up at the crack of dawn. The drone of traffic I am fine with. I don't mind traffic at all. It puts me to sleep. It's comforting. I know that there's other people out there. But birds chirping drive me nuts.
Got a bit passionate about the birds. Yes, of course, Mr. Addiction is a dog lover. He adores our fur babies.
Quietly peaceful, why did you decide not to have a child of your own? I've always been curious and you said spicy, but feel free not to answer if it's a touchy topic and you don't care to share publicly. P.S. I ask since I've always admired you for being happily pragmatic, and I think if you answer, irrespective of why, it'll be something along those lines. Thank you. Thank you, and absolutely fine to ask. And I have answered this in a previous Q&A. So I will link that Q&A in the description box below, and if you want to find out the answer to that question, please go watch that video. Muriel Anderer is back, and she says, what is a talent that nobody knows that you have? A talent that nobody knows that I have? God, even I don't know. I don't know. I think most of my talents would be pretty obvious, and I tend to be a pretty humble person, and so there's nothing I would say I'm good at that nobody else would have noticed before. Typically I get confirmation from people. They say, oh, you know, you have a real gift for this, or you have a real talent for that, and then I go, oh, thank you, yeah, I find it comes naturally, you know, and that's how you kind of know, because things are easier for you than they are for other people. If I'm to get a little bit, you know, serious about things, I am very, what do you call it? I grew up around somebody that was pretty, what I now know, narcissistic. So as a child, I felt that I was very intuitive, that I could, and again, I've reflected on this, but I could sense if there was about to be conflict, and I had a lot of ways to placate it, to avoid it escalating, to cause a distraction, to shut it down really quickly. And I think I still have that now. I've got this kind of spidey sense if things are up or people aren't really being honest. Yeah, I'm pretty good at picking up on that, and I am told that it's a common trait amongst children who've grown up with people who behave in that way. So that's probably a talent that I have, and I've been able to use it in my work and in my relationships, particularly in my work in industrial relations, kind of sussing out where people stand and what moves they're about to make, and kind of intuiting, well, what tactical steps we should take next. And the final question from my fave lady, Jean Moore, Mrs. Moose. Who's your favourite subscriber, and what YouTuber's taste do you hate? So Jean, you spicy woman, I hope you are feeling better. Jean's had a bit of a health battle recently, as have a few of my subscribers, and a big shout out to those people who tune in and get a bit of company from these videos, because it can be really lonely when you're suffering and your days all look the same. So we're thinking of you, absolutely, and wishing you well. Jean, my favourite subscriber. I have a handful of favourite subscribers, but I think you have been there pretty much from the beginning. And I used to love your very spicy comments, and even though I see less of them these days, I still love and look forward to them. Even though we have very different tastes, you're an Hermes gal through and through, and you hate exotics and furs. You don't put shit on me for what I like, and you, yeah, are very generous and funny, and you always make me laugh, and I so appreciate that.
I keep forgetting the second part of the question. Which YouTuber's collection do I absolutely hate? Oh, that's so hard. I don't think I hate any. I'm just not a fan of the really classic, basic, classic bags. I'm just not a fan of classics. I'm just not. I'm babbling on about something else here. I don't know. I can't say, Jean, stop.
Alright, so all things going well and this video not corrupting, that's it for my Q&A. There's a lot of questions there. Maybe you're listening to this as a podcast. Maybe it's on in the background while you're doing housework. Let me know what you do when you listen to these Q&As. I'm very interested to know. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and help me out on the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe if you haven't already and you'd like to come back for more. Consider following me on Instagram, where you can see my stories and send me questions when I ask for them to make videos. I put out videos on Wednesdays and Sundays and sometimes some extras, so I'd love to see you back for the next one. Until then, ciao.